Quality control test of packaging material. All pharmaceutical glass containers release alkali to different extents, which may be deleterious to sterile pharmaceutical preparations, which are packed in the glass container. Hence, the extent of alkali extraction, which is also called as hydrolytic resistance, should be determined. Crushed glass test or powdered glass test. This test determines the intrinsic chemical durability of glass. The amount of alkali extracted from the glass in the specific conditions employed during the test indicates the resistance offered by the new glass containers against the attack of water. Containers made from glass which passes this test do not offer any problems during their usage. The test is used to determine the nature of glass for differentiation between two glass types. The values for crushed glass test are high for type 1 glass. More higher values are exhibited by type 2 glass due to its surface treatment by suitable means. However, an average value is offered by type 3 glass. Procedure. The glass containers are coarsely crushed and ground in a suitable equipment to obtain glass grains. About 10 grams of these grains are then passed through a 40 mesh screen. These grains should not pass through a 50 mesh screen but should get retained on it. The retained grains are then treated with acetone to remove any adhering fine powder or agglomerated fine particles. 50 ml of distilled water and 10 gram glass grains are placed in an autoclave at 121 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. The extracted solution is so obtained is decanted and the glass grains are washed. The extracted solution and washings are pulled. The alkali which is present in the solution is titrated with 0.02 normal H2SO4 using methyl red as an indicator until the endpoint is reached. The titration is performed again without the glass grains, which serves as a blank. The volume of 0.02 normal H2SO4 consumed by the glass grains, that is test sample, is an indicator of the extent of alkali extraction. Whole container test or water attack test. Water attack test is suitable for surface treated type 2 glass containers. This test involves filling the containers with freshly prepared distilled water followed by exposing them to test conditions. Surface treated glass containers easily pass this test as the upper protective layer reduces the sufficient exposure of inner glass layer, which decreases the extraction of alkali. Water attack test is made more stringent for small containers by decreasing their permitted limits of acid requirement. This is because the inner surface area of small containers is in greater contact with the contents. Thus, the contents are exposed to higher concentration of the alkali when compared to those in large containers. The container volume determines the number of containers to be employed for the water attack test or whole container test. So when volume of container is less than or equal to 5 ml, 10 containers should be used for the test and volume of test solution should be 50 ml. When the volume is in between 6 to 30 ml, then the 5 containers should be taken for the test and the test solution for final titration should be 50 ml. And when the container capacity or volume is greater than 30 ml, then the 3 containers should be selected and the final volume should be 100 ml for the test. Procedure for water attack test. Each container, that is ampoules, bottles or vials, are rinsed twice with water at room temperature. They are then rinsed with freshly prepared distilled water just before the test. Freshly prepared distilled water is filled into the containers up to their rim. Aluminum foil or borosilicate glass dish which have been thoroughly rinsed with distilled water are placed over the bottles or vials. The containers are loaded in an autoclave containing water wherein they should be placed sufficiently above the water levels. The containers are unloaded and then cooled by placing them under running tap water. The liquid from the containers must be tested within an hour for its removal from the autoclave. The liquid from the containers is then pooled in a conical flask to which methyl red is added as an indicator and titrated with 0.01 molar HCl until the end point is reached. The titration is also performed using same volume of freshly prepared distilled water which acts as a blank. The difference in the titrate value of the sample and blank solution gives the volume of 0.01 molar HCl required by the test solution for neutralization of the expected alkali. The volume of 0.01 molar HCl so consumed by the sample solution should be calculated for 100 ml of quantity. This value should not exceed the prescribed limits for a particular size container. So this is the table which represents the container capacity and the volume of acid consumed by each 100 ml of test solution. So whatever the volume taken, whether it is 50 or 100, so 50 should be converted into the reading should be converted to 100 ml. So for type 1 and type 2 glass, if you see, the volume of acid consumed is less as compared to the type 3 glass. Test to distinguish between type 1 and type 2 glass. Containers are rinsed twice with water completely filled with 4% volume by volume of hydrofluoric acid solution and are maintained at room temperature for 10 minutes. The acidic solution from the containers is emptied. The containers are then thoroughly rinsed with water for not less than 5 times. The emptied containers are placed in an autoclave. The titration are performed in a similar manner as in the water attack test. The volume of 0.01 molar HCl consumed by type 1 glass should resemble the value as indicated in glass table obtained in the water attack test. However, the values obtained for type 2 glass containers exceed the values obtained in water attack test, also indicated in table, and resemble those obtained for type 3 glass. This is because treatment with hydrofluoric acid results in the destruction of upper protective layer of type 2 glass containers, thus exposing the alkaline lower glass layers which consumes greater amount of acid for neutralization. Thermal shock test. Place the samples in upright position in a tray. Immerse the tray into hot water for given time and transfer to cold water bath. Temperature of both are closely controlled. Examine cracks or breaks before and after the test. The amount of thermal shock a bottle can withstand depends on its size, design, and glass distribution. Small bottles withstand a temperature differential of 60 to 80 degrees Celsius and one pint bottle 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. A typical test uses 45 degrees Celsius temperature difference between hot and cold water. Internal bursting pressure test. The most common instrument used is American Glass Research Increment Pressure Tester. The test bottle is filled with water and placed inside the test chamber. A scaling head is applied and the internal pressure automatically raised by a series of increments, each of which is held for a set of time. The bottle can be checked to a pre-selected pressure level and the test continues until the container finally bursts. Leakage test. Drug-filled container is placed in a container filled with colored solution, mainly the methylene blue dye solution, which is at high pressure compared to the pressure inside the glass container, so that the colored solution enters the container if any cracks or any breakage is present. So this can be done by autoclaving the ampoule, sealed ampoule, by putting it into the methylene blue dye solution, which is placed in a beaker, and this beaker then autoclave for a specified period of time. So during autoclaving, positive pressure is there at the outside of the ampoule or vial, and if the crack is there, then the solution may get colored as the colored solution enters the container. Ability of a filled or empty container to withstand autoclaving may be checked by autoclaving it at 121 degrees Celsius for 60 minutes. Annealing test. The sample is examined by polarized light in either a polariscope or strain viewer. The strain pattern is compared against standard disk or limit samples. Vertical load test. The bottle is placed between a fixed platform and a hydraulic ramp platform, which is gradually raised so that a vertical load is applied. The load is registered on pressure gauge. Evaluation of plastic containers for non-injectable preparations. Leakage test. 10 plastic containers are filled with closures, fitted with closures and kept inverted for 24 hours at room temperature. The containers pass the test if no signs of leakage are observed. Collapsibility test. The test is applied to those plastic tubes which are to be squeezed to remove the contents. When the tube is collapsed inwards, it should remove 90% of its nominal contents at room temperature at the required rate of flow. Clarity of aqueous extract. Unlabeled, unmarked, and non-laminated portions of the liquid oral containers are randomly selected. These portions are cut into strips, each not exceeding a total area of 20 centimeters square on both the sides. The strips are washed twice with distilled water by shaking for 30 seconds. The washed strips are selected such that total surface area of 1250 centimeters square is achieved. A flask is cleaned with chromic acid and repeatedly rinsed with distilled water. The wash strips are transferred to the flask containing 250 ml of distilled water, covered with a beaker, and autoclave for 30 minutes at 121 degrees Celsius. A blank is prepared with the same quantity of distilled water. The aqueous autoclaved extract is decanted, cooled, and examined. It should be colorless. Non-volatile residue. 100 ml of the above extract is evaporated and dried to a constant weight at a temperature of 105 degrees Celsius. The weight of the residue should not be more than 12.5 milligram. For injectable preparation, leakage test. It complies with the leakage test of plastic containers for non-injectable preparations. Collapsibility test also complies with the collapsibility test of plastic containers for non-injectable preparations, and transparency test is carried out using 16-fold dilution of standard suspension. Preparation of standard suspension. 1 gram hydrogen sulfate is dissolved in enough water to produce 100 ml and kept aside for 6 hours. To 25 ml of the above solution, 25 ml of 10% weight by volume examined solution is added, mixed well, and kept aside for 24 hours. The suspension is stored in a glass container with smooth internal surface to avoid sticking of the suspension to the inner walls. 15 ml of the suspension is diluted with water to produce 1000 ml. This is the standard suspension and should be used within 24 hours. Procedure. Standard suspension is diluted 16 folds. Its absorbance is measured at 640 nanometer and is found to be 0.37 to 0.43. 5 empty containers are filled with diluted suspension to their nominal capacity. A blank is prepared by taking a container and filling it with water. The 5 filled containers are compared visually with the blank for cloudiness of the diluted suspension. Test for metals. Unlabeled or non-laminated portions of the plastic container or plastic granules of container which are made by form fill seal process are subjected to the following test. Preparation of solution A. 2.5 gram of sample is introduced in a long round bottom flask to which 20 ml of H2SO4 is added and charred for 10 minutes. 100 ml volume of H2O2 is added dropwise to the above hot solution and heated until the solution becomes colorless. The above solution is cooled and transferred to a platinum dish and evaporated to dryness. The residue obtained is dissolved in 1 molar HCl, that is 10 ml, and filtered if necessary. The volume is made to 25 ml with water. Test for heavy metals. A mixture of 10 ml solution A and 2 ml acetate buffer is prepared. To the above mixture, 1.2 ml of thioacetamide reagent is added, mixed and left undisturbed for 2 minutes. The process is repeated separately with cadmium standard solution 10 ml or 10 ppm cadmium, and for mixture of lead standard solution 5 ml or 10 ppm Pb, that is lead, and 5 ml water, substituting solution A in both the cases. Any yellow and brown color obtained should not be more intense than the yellow and brown colors of cadmium standard solution and the mixture of lead standard solution and water respectively. Taste for tin. To 10 ml of solution A, 5 ml of 20% H2SO4, 1 ml of 1% sodium dodecyl sulfate solution, and 1 ml zinc dithiol reagent are added and heated in a water bath for 1 minute. The mixture is cooled and kept undisturbed for half an hour. The process is repeated with tin standard solution, that is 10 ml of 5 ppm in place of solution A. Any red color obtained should not be more intense than the red color of the standard tin solution. Taste for zinc. 1 ml of solution A is diluted with water to produce 100 ml. To 10 ml of this solution, 5 ml acetate buffer with pH 4.4, 1 ml of 0.1 molar sodium thiosulfate, and 5 ml of 0.001% weight by volume solution of dithiazone in chloroform are added, mixed, and left undisturbed for 2 minutes. The process is repeated using 2 ml of zinc standard solution, that is 10 ppm zinc, and 8 ml water. Any violet color produced in the chloroform layer of test solution should be less intense than the standard. Residue on ignition. 5 gram of the sample is taken in a tarred crucible and ignited in a muffle furnace at 800 degree plus minus 25 degrees Celsius until a residue not more than 0.1% is obtained. Biological test. These tests are carried out to determine the stability and suitability of the plastic containers for injectable preparation. The tests are carried out on animals like mice and rabbits. The sample under test, that is injectable preparation, is introduced in the intended container and is tested under the same conditions that are encountered during its use and storage. The test sample is removed from the test container after storing it for a specific period of time. Specific surface of plastic is subjected to extraction using suitable extracting media like PEG 400, 5% volume by volume solution of ethanol in NaCl injection, sterile 0.9% weight by volume NaCl in water for injection, vegetable oil such as arachids oil, sesame oil, etc. This extract is either injected or instilled in the test animals to determine their biological response. A blank and a negative control are used in the test to compare the results. The blank consists of the same quantity of the same extracting medium with no specimen under test. It is subjected to the same processes as that of the extracting medium containing the specimen under test. Negative control is a specimen under test which, when subjected to the same conditions of the test, remains unaltered. Systemic injection test. Inject each of 5 mice in test group with sample or blank. Observe the animals immediately, again after 4 hours, and then at 24, 48, and 72 hours interval. If none of animals show significant greater biological reactivity than the blank, the sample meets the requirements. If abnormal behavior such as convulsion or prostration occurs, or if body weight loss is greater than 2 grams, the sample does not meet the requirements. Quality control of closures. Preparation of sample. Wash closures in 0.2% weight by volume of anionic surface active agents for 5 minutes. Rinse 5 times with distilled water and add 200 ml water and is subjected to autoclave at 119 to 123 degrees Celsius for 20 to 30 minutes, covering with aluminum foil. Cool and separate solution from closure. This is solution A. Sterility test. When treated, closures are subjected to sterilization test at 64 to 66 degrees Celsius and a pressure of about 0.7 kPa for 24 hours. Residue on evaporation. 50 ml of solution A is evaporated to dryness at 105 degrees Celsius. Then weigh the residue. It should not be more than 4 milligram. Penetrability. This is measured to check the force required to make a hypodermic needle penetrate easily through the closure. It is measured by using the piercing machine. The piercing force must not exceed a stated value. If it exceeds that stated value, the hypodermic needle can be damaged as a result of undesirable hardness of the closures. Fragmentation test. For closures for aqueous preparations and for closures for dry preparations, different treatment is given. So for closures for aqueous preparations, place a volume of water corresponding to the nominal volume minus 4 ml in each of 12 clean vials. Close the vials with the prepared closures and allow to stand for 16 hours. Whereas for closures for dry preparations, close 12 clean vials with the prepared closures. Using a hypodermic needle with an external diameter of 0.8 millimeter, inject 1 ml of water into the vial and remove 1 ml of air. Carry out this operation 4 times with new needle each time. Pass the liquid in the vials through a filter with a pore sizes of 0.5 micrometer. Number of fragments is not more than 10 except in the case of butyl rubber closures where the total number of fragments is not more than 15. Self-sealability. This test is applicable to closures intended to be used with water. Close the vials with the prepared closures. For each closure, use new hypodermic needle with an external diameter of 0.8 millimeter and pierce the closure 10 times each time at a different site. Immerse the vials upright in a 0.1% weight by volume solution of methylene blue and reduce the external pressure by 27 kPa for 10 minutes. Restore the atmospheric pressure and leave the vials immerse for 30 minutes. Rinse the outside of the vials. None of the vials contains any trace of colored solution. pH of aqueous extract. 20 ml of solution A is added with 0.1 ml bromothiamyl blue when it is added with a small amount of 0.01 molar NaOH, which changes the color from blue to yellow. The volume of NaOH required is not more than 0.3 ml, and if it is done with HCl, the volume of HCl needed should not be more than 0.8 ml. Light absorption test. It must be done within 4 hours of preparing solution A. It is filtered through 0.5 micron filter and its absorbance is measured at 220 to 360 nanometer. Blank is done without closures and absorbance is not more than 2. Reducing substances. 20 ml of solution A is added with 1 ml of 1 molar H2SO4 and 20 ml of 0.002 molar KMNO4 and boil for 3 minutes. Then cool and add 1 gram of potassium iodide, which is titrated with sodium thiosulfate using starch as an indicator. Blank is done and the difference between titration volumes should not be more than 0.7 ml. Quality control for collapsible tubes. Leakage test. Water was filled in the tube and tightly closed. External surface was wiped off and the tube is kept inverted on filter paper at base. Allowed to stand for 1 hour. Filter paper shows absorption at any time during test period. Lacquer curing test. Power of adhesion. Tube was pitted along the length and flattened. Cotton wool soaked in acetone was rubbed over lacquer surface for 20 minutes. Lacquer should not lift from the surface and cotton wool shall remain colorless. Flexibility test. The tube was folded in such a manner that internal lacquer surface is outside. The lacquer coating should not be peeled off when the folded position is rubbed with finger. Lacquer compatibility test. 10 tubes are taken for the test. Product was filled and creamed, subjected to 45 degrees Celsius for 72 hours. Tubes were allowed to cool and cut lengthwise. Product compatibility. Content should not show any discolorations or change in color or gas formation. Lacquer compatibility. Lifting or peeling of lacquer is checked. Quality control of metallic tins. Description. Metallic tins having smooth inner surface. The upper surface is sealed, consists of a clip to break the seal. The lower surface is open. Height. Measure the height in millimeter of 10 metallic tin individually from the lower surface edge to the upper rim. Limit. Specimen metallic tins with tolerance 170 millimeter plus minus 10 millimeter. Inner diameter should not be less than 98 millimeter. So measure the inner diameter of 10 metallic tins. Outer diameter should not more than 105 millimeter. Cleanliness check. It should not be dirty, damaged, stained, or consist of any foreign particles. Quality control of strip and blister packagings. Procedure. 3/4 of water is poured in desiccators. The strips and blisters were placed inside the desiccators and vacuum is applied. After some time, vacuum was released. And 3/4 of water is poured in desiccators. The strips and blisters were placed inside the desiccators and vacuum is applied. After some time, vacuum was released and strips, blisters were taken out. The water present over the outer surface of the packages was wiped off with tissue paper. The contents of strips and blister packages were removed and the presence of moisture was checked. If there is no leakage, the contents will not be wetted. This indicates the perfect sealing of the packages. Quality control test for cartons. Compression. This method is used to assess the strength of erected package. Carton opening force. The method is used to hold the flat carton as lever by its creases between thumb and first finger press. Coefficient of friction. Both static and kinetic coefficients of friction are determined by sliding the specimen over itself under specific test conditions. Crease stiffness. This involves testing a carton board piece and folding it through 90 degrees. It will then try to recover its former position when bending force is removed. Joint shear strength. This is a method of testing the glued lip lapsing on the side of a carton for strength of the adhesive using a tensile testing machine. Quality control of paper and board. The test pieces of paper and board are conditioned for the test to be carried out in standard conditions. So these are temperature should be 23 degrees Celsius plus minus 1 degree Celsius. Relative humidity 50% plus minus 2%, and some of the tests to be performed are moisture content, folding endurance, density of paper and board, method for determining air permeability, grammage or paper caliper, tensile strength, tear strength, burst strength, puncture resistance, stiffness of thick paper and boards, Freezability of boards, then rub this resistance, peak taste, pH, then chloride or sulfate, then roughness or smoothness. So these are the different parameters. Quality assurance aspects of packaging to ensure that patients and consumers receive high quality drugs. The quality management system must take the following considerations into account if the required quality of packaging is to be obtained. The requirements of the national authorities and relevant legislation, the product, the production process, the manufacturer's internal policies like safety, marketing, etc. Bad packaging, which is the result of deficiencies in the quality assurance system for packaging, can have serious consequences, and packaging defects can create problems that may result in drug recalls. Such defects may include breakage and problems relating to printing or inks or errors on labels and package inserts, that is, patient information leaflets. The use of good manufacturing practice and quality control will prevent the release of a defective medicinal product. Packaging processes and equipment need validation or qualification in the same way as any other part of processing within a pharmaceutical facility. Sampling and testing of packaging material, testing program, package validation involves two separate validations. The design validation of the package as a component of the device. So design validation uses evidence to establish what design specifications will conform with the user needs and the intended use. And process validation of the packaging process, where process validation establishes by objective evidence that a process consistently produces a result or product that meets predetermined specifications. The regulation, of course, refers to establishing evidence that the manufacturing steps involved in packaging the device will consistently produce packaging which meets specifications. For example, the process capability of packaging and sealing equipment should be determined during process validation and documented. Validation of the package design shall be performed under actual or simulated use conditions that show the package conforms to its stated intended uses. Risk analysis shall also be included wherever appropriate. Thank you.